All right, y'all. So let's talk about Belle Collective Season 3, Episode 2. And the episode is called Falling Off a Cliff. Now, this here is an episode where everybody and their mama want to let us know that Tamra is a liar. Oh, yes. Every time Tamra's name is mentioned, the word liar is mentioned either in front of or behind it, or maybe on top of or under it. Okay, it's on the right, it's on the left, it's in the front and back, underneath, over me, and it's living down inside. Okay, it's all over Tamra. Okay, the word liar. All right, they want us to know Tamra is a liar, allegedly. Okay, I got to put the alleged badge because listen, they said it, not me. They said it multiple times, umpteen times. Okay. Actually, whenever Tamra appears on screen now, y'all just put up the word liar because that's what they want us to know. That's what some of these cast members want us to know. Now, Tamra, I ain't say it, but you got some problems on your hands, and your problems are your friends. Actually, I don't even think they're your friends. I don't feel like they like you that much. Let's just call this thing a thing. It don't really seem like nobody like it that much. I barely remember what she did, but in case you forget, they here to remind you. Okay. So let's get into some things. I'm gonna rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna rate this episode a 9. If you guys will recall from last week, I gave it a 9. Did I give it a 9 or did I give it an 8? I can't remember, but I feel like I'm gonna give this episode a 9 because I feel like it was good. I mean, there was a lot of meat for me to chew on. That's kind of what I'm looking for in some episodes. Like, is there meat for me to chew on? Is there some meat on the bone that I can digest and dissect or whatever? Or was it like a plate of like appetizers that I can't eat? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Ironic because I'm not really eating meat right now. But anyway, metaphorically speaking, okay. I felt like there was so much to unpack here, so many and kind of some random moments as well, but we will dive all the way into it. We start off back at the M bar. I kind of wish in this episode that they had given us a little bit of a replay of some extra moments from that scene because I feel like we kind of pick back up with them heading back inside. Latrice and Cliff, they're heading back inside M bar. And Cliff is oddly standing over top of the scene being filmed by Latrice and her friend Manza, uh, Mamacita. Okay, and it's just so weird. It's like he's supposed to be in the scene, but he in the scene and he's standing right above the scene. It's just like, bro, like, what do you think is going to happen here? Okay. Why do you need to supervise? What do you think she's going to do with the camera crew there that you won't see later? I want to know. What do you think? What do you think is gonna happen, Mr. Cliff? What you think? What you think? What you think? She gonna get a little smart in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to check her later. Is that what's gonna happen? Anyway, um, she forgot to tell him she was going to the M bar. You would think that she had spent all their money, okay, like all of it, to buy the M bar. Okay, for the way he acted, you would think that she stole the money from their bank account. Okay. You would think that he caught her red-handed kissing another man. That's what you would think. But no, her crime in this instance was forgetting to tell him that she was going to film with her friends. The punishment don't fit the crime, my brother. Something is off. Something is off with you, sir. But we'll get onto that a little more. We'll talk about it a little bit more. So Latrice reflects on seeing her father's aggression, okay, and how her mom, okay, took that. And she admits that she takes a lot from men because she's mimicking her mom, which is very, very deep. And she needs to process that. So then Josh arrives and Cliff is still supervising the scene. But now, after all of that stuff that he had to say about Josh, why you ain't say it to Josh when he was right there? I mean, now is the opportunity while you are supervising the scene. Okay, while you are Lord of the Manor and standing over top of everybody, watching like a hawk. Okay. But says nothing to Josh in that moment. So, and Latrice got to be whispering, I don't know why you whispering. He right there. He is right there. Girl, you might as well say it now. Because, I mean, he didn't already cursed you out, called you a snake, called you a BI, and all kinds of other things. So, at this point, what you got to lose? Okay? So, we see that Cliff has now moved over to a section with some randoms. Okay, some randoms. However, he got to supervise is how he gonna supervise. Maybe the camera crew told him you in the way. I don't know. Her friends try to tell her that he is trying to keep her at a certain level, so that she won't rise above him. I don't know if it's that or that he just wants to be in charge of her. Okay. Maybe he don't want her. I mean, she does make a reference to something later about how once Goddess Lynn started really growing, and I'm assuming maybe getting on a national platform like this, that he started to have a lot more issues, because I definitely think that there's something to be said for, these sometimes men in relationships, when their wife becomes, uber successful, it's really a big problem for them. So anyway, back over to So Gucci. She don't have this problem, okay? JJ seemed to worship the ground that she walk on, unless, of course, you're listening to Latrice. But we'll talk about that a little later, too. So Star shows up, okay? Star being one of JJ's girls, okay? Now, JJ found out that she was expecting and married via social media. So he's still a little bit salty about that. D also shows up with her daughter. And, he goes to take Star off to the side. Now, apparently, according to JJ, and a little bit according to So Gucci, Selena, the girl's mama, is extra jealous, okay, of So Gucci. And apparently, she causes a lot of drama. And he's also upset because he thinks that his ex, Selena, knew about the marriage and the baby before he did, and that the guy did. He's also upset because the guy didn't ask for permission for her hand in marriage, and he didn't get a chance to walk her down the aisle. Now, I do feel like they did kind of rob him of those things, but at the end of the day, it's her life, her baby, and her marriage. Okay, so it is what it is. And as far as what is going on, it sounds like he's a little bit too controlling too, according to what they saying, and maybe we just ain't seen it yet, because we ain't seen. I definitely didn't see it with Cliff, and I was sitting right there and with them. Okay, so for me, I mean, what's going on here? Is it something about the men in Jackson that they feel like they got to have the control over the ladies? Like they feel like this is the '60s, okay? And it's mad men, and they got to be running around, in control of the women, making sure the women don't get out of line, like back in the old days. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't living in the old days, and y'all about to find out. Watch and see, because at the end of the day, y'all don't start treating these ladies with some respect like they deserve, they gonna get to leaving y'all. Then what you gonna do? Okay, while y'all running around up in the same circles. Okay, we'll talk about that too. Anyway, so she tells him that he's hard to talk to, and that's why she did not tell him that she was expecting or getting married. Go Star. I say go for it. So Gucci tells D that she's annoyed because apparently JJ's girls got a little issue with her because I guess somebody told them that they were talking about that so Gucci was talking about their mom Selena, which has got to be difficult, especially if I'm watching the TV and you talking about my mama and you my stepmama, I'm mad at you. I mean, period. I mean, it is what it is. That's how people roll. So they having a baby shower for Star, and Selena is throwing it. So everybody got to go. Finally, because we didn't mention Selena so many times, we didn't mention Selena about as many times as they didn't mention that Tamra's a liar. So I want to see this lady, and I'm not familiar with the other show, the Dancing Dolls or whoever they was. So I'm new. I'm fresh off the boat. Okay, I'm fresh. I'm fresh in this situation. I don't know nothing about none of it. Okay, so I'm coming into this with fresh eyes. All right. So over at the Jackson State University homecoming, Tamra is hosting a tailgate. Now her manager Quasi, who everybody wants us to know is always with Tamra. Even Tamra wants us to know that the man is always with her. If he always with her, why ain't I ever seen him before? Okay, like he should have been in episode 1 at the first brunch. And mind you, I feel like that is what I am missing. We had a good old Belle Collective brunch thrown by Letitia Pearson, okay, and since we started this whole season. And I feel like that's what's missing. I feel like this air season need to be jumped off with a brunch, okay, because that's where things get popping. Bring the girls back together, because right now the Bells ain't no collected, okay? They not collected. They are dispersed. All right, Belle dispersed. It ain't Belle collective, because ain't nobody collected together. Nobody's gotten together. None of these girls seem like they like each other at this point in time. Like everybody mad at somebody. But I digress. I digression. JJ. Oh, with the homecoming thing, the only person that comes is Soguchi. Now, Latrice and Letitia say they ain't getting no invitations. We'll talk about that more later too. Akeisha and Marie say they wouldn't go anyway because Tamra is a liar. All right. Now, Soguchi and her daughter D is like stirring up some juice on this show. I mean, it's the truth. She's stirring up some juice, but I ain't mad at it because somebody got to do it. Anyway, they wondering where is Damond at? You know, because ain't Tamra supposed to be with Damond? Barely. But and what's going on with Tamra and this man Quasi? Now, I'm gonna need to see some more between Quasi and Tamra for me to really buy into this idea that it's something else going on between them, because I ain't seen them before. I mean, I ain't never seen them I don't see them interact. I mean, so I need to see her, lovingly caress his face. I need to see her, give him a warm embrace or something. You know what I'm saying? I need to see her getting hot and bothered by the man. And I ain't seen it yet. It just looked like they be work associates, but I don't know. What do I know? I ain't there. So anyway, JJ stops by Cliff's, and this is probably the first time I done seen Cliff all season where I felt like he was in his right mind. Okay. So JJ brings him some deer jerky because Cliff allows him to go hunting on all his land or whatever. But he got mentioned that so Gucci is mad at Latrice because Latrice did so Gucci wrong. Okay. Now, first of all, I'm gonna notice something that Josh pointed out. Not so eloquently, okay, but eloquently pointed it out. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up for y'all because sometimes it's a show and tell situation. And we talk about these things when we talk about our shows. Now, sometimes you got to show me, and sometimes it's okay to tell me, but sometimes you got to show me. So I'm gonna show you. Cliff was in his right mind in this moment right here. Now, also, you got to notice the subtitles of it all. They do give Cliff subtitles. I mean, because Cliff got such a heavily country accent that, he kind of like, his words kind of run together a little bit. We got to talk about it. Let's be real about it. It is what it is. Now, he basically tells, because Glenn shows up a little later, and first of all, why did Glenn have on all this? Where was he going? What rap concert was he performing at? I mean, has he started his rap career already? I was like, Glenn, why are you iced the heck out like that? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe the ladies love it. Okay, ladies, I need y'all to chime down. Does that make you drop it like a thotty? Drop it like a thotty. I mean, is that what it does for you? Does the bling bling make you want to pop it like a thotty? Pop it like a thotty? Let me know. Meanwhile, Cliff basically tells JJ, if your business is right, then Gucci did herself wrong by not signing a contract. I said that last week. Now, Gucci, I love you with that banging body. But it is the truth. It is nothing but the truth. You did yourself a disservice by not having her sign an exclusive right to sell contract. Period. Dot. Case closed. Now, the producer does ask Cliff why he's not telling the guys about his blow up with Latrice. He tells the producer, Well, that was a private conversation that y'all was eavesdropping on. Was it? Can I tell y'all something? I've often mentioned that my limited filming experience when I did Strip on Bravo. One of the first things I discovered was, when you sign that contract, you understand that the camera crew won't leave until they're ready. Okay. There are certain circumstances for which you can get out of filming. All right. They are specifically outlined in the contract, and they are far and few between. Now, one of the first things I discovered was I was having a moment inside my apartment, and it was a whole bunch of people in there, and they was asking me like 100. I mean, like it just felt like question after question after question after question after question after question after question, and they expecting so much from you in that moment. I was like, I need a second. Like this is a lot. I won't expecting all this. Okay. I don't even have a moment to breathe before y'all asking me to emote, give you how I feel, my deep innermost feelings about something. And I don't even know y'all like that. Y'all just showing up at my house, y'all taking my stuff out. So I went outside the apartment because I was in an apartment complex at the time. I went outside, left through the courtyard, and went outside to the curb to just sit down for a second. I look up, there's a camera to the right, and there's a camera to the left. Them mofos follow me all the way outside. Oh, yes, they did. Oh, yes, they did. I'm sitting on the curb on the street, and they sitting right there. And that's when I knew you cannot escape this. You cannot escape this. So when I see these people on these shows and they be trying to run around and talk about turn the camera off, they're not gonna turn the camera off. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it. So the moment that you decide that you want to act like an ASS, okay, in front of a camera, knowing full well that the camera crew is there, you should also know that they're gonna show it on the television because you're acting like an ASS. And that is dramatic. So anyway, no, they were not eavesdropping. It was not a private conversation because you are being filmed. You interrupted her camera time. So at this point in time, did you not read the contract? You know so much. You telling JJ about the contracts that so Gucci should have signed, should have had Latrice sign, but you need to know about the paperwork too, my friend. Okay, and that's outlined in the paperwork. Okay. So anyway, they question what's going on with Glenn and Letitia. He wonders if he's holding out false hope. I don't really care because I feel like, brother, you had every opportunity in the world. So many of us were rooting for you, and it's like, I feel like Tyra Banks yelling at the girl. We were all rooting for you. We were, and all you had to do was not comment on your Instagram, and you could not hold it together long enough. You couldn't do it. I don't know why you just delete the app. Period. Period. Have her manage it for you. Period. If you want to still have the app, have her have access to it. I don't know. Do something, but just stay off of it. Then they all joke about Cliff getting busy with Selena while she was maybe allegedly was still with JJ or something like that. And it's just interesting how they just joke about, the pass around of it all. I don't know. The Passover. And maybe that wasn't the way it was. Maybe I'm misreading it, and I could be. I don't know. But back over at Goddess Lens, we have a conversation with Latrice and Josh. Latrice has told Josh all the things that Cliff has said about Josh. I mean, I don't know if I would have done that, but I mean, he was gonna find out eventually, so might as well get it out the way now. So Josh doesn't feel secure with his job at Goddess Lens because he doesn't know if Cliff will have the power to fire him or not because of his influence over Latrice. Josh is hurt because Latrice didn't defend him, and Latrice was just hoping that the situation would go away. She feels at the end of the day, he feels like she will come crying to him about certain aspects of her marriage, and then he will try to help her with those situations. And then at the end of the day, she will go running right back to him. Now, for her, she feels like she's just venting. Sister girlfriend. Okay, let me go ahead and tell you like this. The only person you should probably be venting to about your marriage is your therapist. I mean, that's just the way it is. Because otherwise, when you start to involve your friends in your relationship, that is when things will always turn for the worst. Because at the end of the day, you're married. It's not a regular relationship. So it's a little bit more difficult to get out of. And you have to ask yourself, do you really want to get out of the marriage? Because at 9 times out of 10, y'all got a lot of business and things tied up together. So I always, it's kind of like with the Kim and Corey situation. It might be cheaper to keep her, cheaper to keep him. I mean, I don't know. That's just the logistics of a marriage, because at the end of the day, it is also a business. Whether you want to admit it or not, yes, there is some love and happiness and sunshine, but it's still a business. And so you guys have got to figure out a way to make the house and the home work. And it's a lot bigger than oftentimes what you complain to your friends about. Now, granted, these issues are definitely issues that could be divorceable offenses, in my opinion, period. Because the way people talk to you and the way they treat you says a lot about how they feel about you. Now, again, Josh is setting a boundary in this scene because he tells her, I can't hear nothing else about you and Cliff. And that's probably for the best, because the less he hears about it, the less he feels like he can insert himself or has a right to say certain things about him that I also feel like aren't cool. And that's just the truth of the matter. I mean, you could tell her, like, hey, girl, I don't feel like this man is making you happy. But I think it's a complete different thing to say, like, oh, he's sloppy, oh, he can't talk and stuff like that. I feel like that's crossing a line that, as my friend, I'm not going to do. But there are instances in the situation where I feel like he's right about how Latrice is being treated and his perspective on the situation. I think that is the value of, what he's saying. But I also think that there has to be some separation between what a married couple share with their friends. That's just how I feel, period. I mean, because otherwise you allow everybody else to kind of come in and dictate and talk about and get in your head, and you need to figure these things out for yourself. And so for me, the only person that's qualified to actually have those conversations with you is likely a therapist. Anyway, so Gucci is having a Dirty 30 boot camp. It's like a 30-minute workout. All the girls are invited. Gucci and D talk about how, Tamra showed up to the tailgate with Quasi, and D was commenting about how Quasi seemed more like her man than her station manager. I didn't see that, so it's kind of hard for me to understand it. So I need for you guys to show me, and I need for you guys to tell me, but I also need for you guys to show me some type of interaction with them that seems inappropriate, because right now I don't see it. Anyway, Gucci then lets Tamra know that Latrice, about Latrice closing on the building with another agent or whatever. Letitia rolls up. Excuse me. Y'all know my allergies be a mess, okay? A mess. Anyway, so Marie and Latrice are late. Latrice finally rolls up with Josh, and so Gucci is not letting it go how late they are. Now, Marie finally does arrive, and she's like, it's like Gucci rolls out the red carpet for her, and Latrice is like, why is Marie getting the red carpet treatment, but, I'm being mistreated because I was late? She should be glad that I showed up. And anyway, she get to talking about Marie and her body, and she says that the BBL is BBLing. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Marie did come in looking like bow da 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 da. Okay, so I ain't mad at it. I feel like this: do what you need to do for you to make yourself feel better about you. And if that's a BBL, if it's a nose job, if it is a enhancement to your face, if it's a whole new face, I do not care. Make yourself happy, because at the end of the day, you only have one life to live, and that is yours. So don't let nobody make you feel bad about your BBL, about your nose job, about a new face, a new body, a new head, a new personality. Okay? Anyway. Anyway, so Gucci is like, she's not going to address Latrice at her event. Tamra after the workout wants to know why Marie didn't show up to the tailgate, because Marie usually shows up to everything. But before Marie can answer, Tamra already feels some tension, and Marie tells Tamra that she thinks she's doing too much. But she couldn't finish her conversation because Latrice comes over, and Marie immediately excuses herself because she don't want to be around Latrice, so she goes over to talk to. So Gucci about Latrice. And it's like, honestly, for real, if you're not thinking about a person, why are you still running your mouth about them? That's what I say. I mean, like, if I don't like somebody, I ain't thinking about them. Period. I ain't thinking about them. I ain't talking about them. Actually, it's very few people that I just don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but the things that I don't like in life, I really don't think about that much, and I really don't talk about them that much because that is giving the thing that I don't like life. And why would I do that? Meanwhile, Tamra then addresses Letitia and Latrice about why they didn't come. Now, this is an interesting discussion. So Letitia says she didn't get an invite. Apparently, Tamra called Marie and she told Soguchi when Soguchi came to the radio station. Now, Tamra says, well, I didn't know I had to call everybody individually. Are y'all not on that group text no more, to the one that Akeisha didn't belong to? You might have wanted to send it via that group text message that Akeisha didn't belong to, because that way the message would have got to everybody. But you only told Soguchi. So she says that she thought that Soguchi would tell the rest of the ladies. Well, why would you think that? That don't really make no sense to me. Unless she thought that, oh, well, maybe production is going to inform everybody. But then you call Marie, so I can't even roll with that response as you thinking maybe production was going to fill everybody in, because you called Marie, but you ain't called Letitia or you didn't call Latrice. So at that point, Letitia's like, so you called Marie and not me? And then Tamra says, well, you know, well, for you, Latrice, I didn't know if you and Marie was going to be in the same place. You wanted to be in the same place. So Latrice is like, so you picked Marie over me? And Tamra was like, well, no, Marie didn't even come. But I'm like, but yeah, you still chose Marie over Latrice. Now, I don't know much about Marie has been one of the most vocal people about Tamra being a liar, much more so than Latrice. But I don't guess Tamra is too clued in to know what's going on with these girls and the fact that they don't like her. Now, at this point, Tamra says, well, I've been, working and hosting, and so I'm busy. And Letitia has to tell her, like, girl, we're all busy. All right. And everybody has their phones, and we can all respond to our phones. Now, again, this is weird to me because it feels to me like Tamra, and it feels to me like this is what the ladies are saying about Tamra. Tamra seems to be more interested in presenting like an ideal version of herself, right? And I think everybody kind of goes into reality TV with that mindset of like, well, because she says things like, well, I'm hosting, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm booked and I'm busy, and my platform is empowering women. And it's like, girl, who says that in regular conversation with their girlfriends? Like, no, we don't need to know that right now. You're not doing an interview. You're not on the radio. You are now having conversation with your girlfriends. Now, it's understandable that people want to put their best foot forward, but it can't be at the expense of you just being real, okay? Because that's when things go downhill. And then when you get frustrated, you get to banging on tables and people don't understand it because now they're seeing a disconnect between my platform, I host, I do this, and yeah. And then you start popping off because you frustrated and people don't really understand how you went from 0 to 100. It don't make sense. And so I can understand why there's a disconnect between the way people receive Tamra and the way she is presenting herself, right? Anyway, Letitia then says something very interesting to me. She says, oh, it's cool, but let me go because I don't want the dark-skinned girl being called aggressive. I was like, no, wait. Now, where did this come from? Was there a prior discussion about this? Was this something that stemmed from the reunion that I can't remember? Like, I need to be filled in. And I wanted Letitia in a confessional giving us more detail about why she felt like that would be the case. But I didn't get that. So I'm just like, that's very interesting because Tamra seemed a little clueless about it. Meanwhile, moving right along, I need more intel on that because I didn't know. did I not recognize that was something that was happening within this particular group? Like, had there been a conversation about it that I had not recognized? That's what I wanted to know. Had they been talking about it? Had it been a point that had been made before? Or was this something that maybe she was feeling from the viewer's perspective? I don't know. I'm really, really interested in that because I guess I had never put it into my mind that Letitia came across as aggressive. That never crossed my mind. So I was interested in how she felt about it. So at the baby shower, Star's having a boy, Selena's hosting. Things are a bit unorganized. There's no food. There's only some lemonade, no water. Latrice and Cliff arrive, and we learn that Latrice is actually super close to Selena. Now, this is interesting to me because I'm like, why wouldn't y'all pick Selena as a castmate? Not to say that So Gucci shouldn't be. I mean, if I'm casting them both. Why not? I mean, I just think that is a marvelous story to tell. Okay, marvelous. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, I'm just looking at it from a production standpoint, like, ooh, now that's juicy right there. Okay, so the producer asked Latrice also about the instance with Cliff. Okay. The producer says, you and Cliff seem to be on good terms since your argument at M Bar. And Latrice is like, no, girl, next question. And I would have been like, no, girl, answer the question. Okay. Because at the end of the day, again, like I said, y'all signed these paper. Okay. You signed the paper. Actually, I got the paper right here. Here is your contract. Okay. Actually, if y'all can see what a contract look like, this is just a bunch of documentations and things. But usually contracts is thick, is a thick tome of a book. It's like an encyclopedia filled with so much overwhelming jargon that you need an attorney to read it. So in my mind, I would have been like, no, you see here, section 6 of clause 353. Okay. It says here that you are to answer questions about things that we film, and we are still filming when you was on this clock. Okay, so you were still mic'd and you were still under the filming conditions. So yes, girl, I'm gonna need you to answer these questions, and we're not gonna leave until you do. All right. Yes. Now let's get back to it. Hercules. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. I understand Latrice not wanting to answer the question, but I mean, it happened. So we need to go ahead and acknowledge it. What happened to make things okay betwixt the time that you had that argumentation and he was calling you a bee and a snake to now? I need to know. Fill me in. Okay. I don't want to hear about it in an interview later. I want to hear about it now. Okay, meow. While we're talking about it, when I'm asking you this question, meow. All right, because ultimately that's still your husband. So it ain't for me. I ain't like, oh, I mean, as much as I feel like it could be a divorceable offense, that don't mean that I feel like you was gonna divorce him. So tell me what happened. How did you get over it? You did sign up for a show, so let us know. Let us in. Listen. You welcome us in, and now we here. Tell us what happened. Okay, because at least then you could explain it in your own words how you became okay with what happened or how he apologized and made it okay. Like, fill us in. Can you feel me in? All right. So anyway, Latrice and So Gucci run into each other, and this is a shade down. Okay. I don't even know if I could be friends with somebody out there. They shade each other the way that they do. All right. Because Gucci says, well, Latrice, I didn't know you was coming. And Latrice is like, girl, you knew I was coming. Okay. You know I'm friends with Selena. All right. And and Latrice even says in her confessional, she's like, girl, I brought you to this group. I made you. Okay. I made you. So, in her confessional, Latrice also says, it's not my fault that your husband, JJ, is still in love with his ex-wife. That's your problem, not mine. I was like, oh, Lord. I mean, who wasn't in love with Selena at one point, apparently? Because Cliff wanted her to. I don't know. I mean, based on the way they were joking about it. So, like, I mean, welcome to the party, sis. Y'all might as well invite her outside to talk too. So anyway, Latrice and Saguchi head outside to talk, and we end on a to be continued. So we'll see where that goes next week. So listen, I was pleased with this episode. There was a couple of things that I wanted to know more information about, but I do feel like overall, I mean, they're emphasizing some points. Point number one being that Tamra is allegedly a liar, liar, pants on fire, and they're not gonna let that go. All right, they're not gonna let it go. So I noticed that we only got a confessional from Akeisha in this episode. I'm like, girl, where you at? You back up in the up north? You know what you doing? When we gonna get a brunch, Letitia? Okay, we need a brunch. That's why things feeling so a little bit discombobulated to me because we ain't had a I think every season need to start off with a brunch. That's just me. Let's. I feel like that's how you get it popping because we ain't had like an all cast scene event yet. So I'm kind of like, where it at, boo? And a brunch is the perfect way to do it. So anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about the episode, and I will catch you all in the next video.